Hi guys, welcome back to Exploding Dice Gaming. I'm Andy, and today I've got a terrain tip for you. Well, sort of. It's a let's learn how to sort of terrain tip. So in a D&D game I'm running for a few friends, including Steve and Paul. The start of the next session, which will be before this video comes out, so not to spoil it, the players will be fighting a giant. Now, the description I gave at the end of last session before the giant turned up was that he has in the middle of the forest a sort of like a sleeping pit. You know, where he keeps all his treasures, and he's just sort of like, you know, like how cats just sort of make a little pit for them to sleep in pillows and stuff. Well, same sort of thing. Is just, you know, he keeps all his treasures. So I kind of like the idea of like a small crater thing, but then, you know, I realised D&D giant, quite a large thing. So I'm gonna try to make this crater, and to do that I went and bought a disposable roasting tray from Pound Shop. So that cost me £1. You see, that's quite large. Plenty of room for giant to go in and thing. So my idea is I'm going to turn this into a crater by pushing down the centre and then bulking out the sides with possibly some newspaper and some papier-mâché, and then let it all dry. I've got a week to do this, to get this to ready for the game session next Sunday. As in, this will be before the video comes out, but anyway, I've got a week to do this. So I'm going to give it a go. If it doesn't work, no big loss. I can draw on a map, but the idea is that I'm going to make this into a nice large crater with walls, and then we can possibly use it on a gaming table for like a thing. It's kind of deep, so we'll see where this. Right, guys, quick update as we go along. What I did was I cut the bottom out of the roasting tray, and then sort of crinkled it all up into like various. So it was a bit irregular. You know, put a couple of dents into it and stuff, and then hot glued it to some cardboard. I had to tape the cardboard together to get it large enough for the roasting tray, but it now works. I then scrunched up some newspaper and stuffed it on the inside so I could bulk out the walls of my pit crater thing. And I used some permanent spray adhesive to just get that to stick in. It's you could use PVA and stick it to the cardboard, or you could use some contact adhesive, but whatever. I used some glue and stuck it in. When that was mostly dry, I then invoked my memories of the old TV show Art Attack, and I mixed up some PVA glue and water in a 2-to-1 ratio, PVA to water, and basically papier-mâchéed this. This is loo roll, or you could use any sort of tissue, and then you just keep building up. I've done 2 rounds of this, and I don't think I'm going to do another one. I think this is going to be all right. Basically, you cover, you put some glue on, put your tissue paper or loo roll or kitchen towel or whatever you're using on, and then you soak it. Cut it, tear it up into strips. Makes it easier to go on. I've done whole sheets, and it's kind of obvious in places, which is why I've gone over again in some places. But you've got to make sure that you completely soak the paper in glue. and you just get it on, so you can cover. So I've covered up the newspaper, and it now looks less roasty tinny to me. Next, I'm now sticking this in an airing cupboard overnight, and in the morning it should be absolutely rock solid, and then it's on to painting. So here we go, guys, the finished product. It's needs a little bit of tidying up. As you can see, I need to just trim the excess cardboard off here. But yeah, it worked really well for what I wanted it to. The players really enjoyed fighting a giant in this. The way I finished it off was after I'd done the I did a second layer of toilet paper papier-mâché. I painted it with burnt umber acrylic paint, dry brushed it all over with burnt sienna to give it a nice textured look, and then liberally applied some burnt static grass, or some static grass in the burnt colour, that is, or scorched or whatever it is. They're not incredibly vibrant green. It's got a little bit of brown mixed into it with PVA glue. Things to take away from this. It's a very steep thing. So you know it's quite the pit. If I was going to make something this size again, I'd probably trim the basting tin to about half, and then maybe I could make 2 with it. For your games at home, you might want to consider using stuff like pie casings, you know, the ones that you can get like from Pucker Pies, or just the small tin thing, the tin baking case that they come in. Flip those over, punch them down, job done. So that's my terrain tip for now. It's a really simple way of making some interesting terrain features for your battlefield. Thanks for joining me, and see you next time.